I want to just welcome everyone. It's an exciting time really in our company, NeXarise. There's a lot of great things happening. And I'm just really excited to continue this leadership series with every single one of you. Now, as you know, in this leadership series, we've already done, I believe, 4 different topics, and they are available on our NeXarise YouTube channel right now. In fact, they were available on the channel, I believe, more than a week ago. So if you go onto the NeXarise YouTube channel, you will see the previous videos of this leadership series. Now, initially, we kicked off with how to do a presentation and also how to close. The video is available on YouTube. You can access it, take advantage of it, share it with your teams, because it really is a simple way to do a presentation and a simple way on how to do an effective close, because the goal is to have a system. And this is the whole purpose of this leadership series. Now, the second video, which is available, is how to launch and how the launch creates momentum. So launching and also creating momentum, is also available on YouTube, and you have full access to that on our NeXarise YouTube channel right now. So again, those are the 4 topics that we've covered. Now, today, we are going to cover another topic, and we're going to add this to our leadership series. And next week is the final Zoom for this leadership series. So next week is the final one. And after next week, everything's going to be available on our YouTube channel. So it's going to be a 6-topic leadership series, and that's going to be available to you and your organizations. Now, very, very important, because I want to start off with something which is very, very crucial, because I want to dive straight into it today. For me, my network marketing business completely changed when I learned the following skills. And I'm going to share the same thing with you today. And these were the skills that I learned when my network marketing business completely changed. Number 1 was how to present, how to close, how to launch, and how to have an effective home meeting. Those were the 4 things that completely changed my network marketing business forever. And things were never the same after then. So those were the 4 topics that I've mastered. How to present, how to close, how to effectively launch, and the importance of home meetings. When I learned those 4 things, I kid you not, my business was completely unstoppable. You see, one thing I like to, share with someone is that the system is more important than the product. The system is more important than the product. If you have a great system in place, I'm telling you, everything else is secondary. Why do I share this with you? Well, someone might say to me, no, but Ahmed, no, but it's all about the product. No. Let me just tell you something. It's not about the product. In fact, I'll share something with you. Take a look at McDonald's. What makes McDonald's so great? It's not the product. It's the system. It's the convenience. It's the accessibility. It's the fact that they're everywhere. And it's systematic. You walk in, 5 minutes, you've got your food. 10 minutes, you've got your food. You can be in and out in record time. System. So it's the system that's more important than the product, not the product, because McDonald's don't sell the best food. They don't sell the best burgers. They don't sell the best fries. They don't have the best customer service. No. But why are they the number 1 fast food franchise in the world? Why? Because of the system, not because of the product. So one thing I learned from earlier on, in my career is the importance of the system. And that's what I'm going to share with you today is really, how can you have a system like McDonald's? Because this was my focus in network marketing. I never ever cared on what looked good. what sounded good. And what I always focused on was, what is the most duplicatable? So let's get into it this afternoon. As you know, there are 4 different types. In fact, there are 5 different types of presentations in our company. Number 1, you have Zoom presentations. Number 2, you have one-on-one presentations or 2-on-1 presentations. Number 3, you have group presentations. Number 4, you have home meetings. And number 5, you have live events. So those are the 5 different types of presentations that we have, in our company. Today, what I'm going to speak to you about is I'm going to speak to you about the importance and the effectiveness of home meetings. Now, here's one thing I understood. The one thing I understood is that everyone has a home. Listen, even if you live in a 1-bedroom home, you still have a home. I want you to understand this. Every single person has a home. So guess what that means? Every single person can do their business in their home. And this is one of the ways that I built one of the largest organizations, in my previous company. And that's what I want to show you, how you can master home meetings and really change your business forever. Now, look, when I speak, ladies and gentlemen, I do not speak from a perspective whereby I'm just saying things for the sake of it. I'm not speaking from a place where it's emotion. I'm speaking from a place of experience, something I know, something I've encountered, something I've done, and something that has effectively worked for me, and I know it could work for you as well. And I want to just show you, if you pay attention to this leadership, this training that I'm about to deliver, I'm telling you, you can completely change your business. Do you know why I know? Here's why. This was me in 2013 doing home meetings. And at the time, just remember what I said in the beginning. Until I learned 4 skills, I was struggling in this business. But when I learned 4 things, it completely changed my life forever. Number 1 was presenting and closing. So presenting. Number 2, closing. Number 3, launching, how to do an effective launch. All these videos are available on YouTube. Number 4, the importance of having a home meeting. Once I learned these 4 skills, it completely changed my business forever. And this was me initially doing home meetings. And I was an EI at this point, executive influencer, going out there, doing presentations, showing people the business and the opportunity. And let me tell you something. From home meetings, my team started growing. I was doing home meetings, signing people up to the opportunity. My team started growing. And there was more people that were coming to the home meetings. Why? Because home meetings are duplicatable. I would do a home meeting at one person's home. I will tell that person, did you see what I just did? Okay. Did you see what so-and-so just did? Okay. Do you think you can do the same? And guess what? People will put people in their living rooms, and the living room started getting more full. And my team started catching fire, and we started growing. And we grew from this, and we started our first event. And then we were able to grow as an organization from home meetings. Everyone was doing home meetings. And in the weekend, we were having an event. Home meetings to live events. Home meetings to live events. Listen, it doesn't matter what day your live event is. Whether your live event is on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it really doesn't matter. But we were doing home meetings and pushing people to the live events. And our events started growing from home meetings to live events, home meetings to live events, home meetings to live events, and literally started growing from this to this. And it grew from this to this, from this to this, from this to this. And this was our event every single week in London. And our events were just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. You see, ladies and gentlemen, everything I showed you started from what? From a home meeting. Because why? Why do I love home meetings? Because every single person has a home. Now, it doesn't mean that you disregard the other 5 ways of presenting. You know, there are Zoom presentations, there are one-on-ones, group presentations, home meetings. Listen, every presentation should feed into the live event. Every presentation should feed into the live event in your market. But let's speak about home meetings today. You see, number one, ladies and gentlemen, today, every single person has a home. And right now is the summer period, it's June, right? What are people going to do? Kids are going to be off school. Everyone's going to be at home. You know, the weather's nice and warm. People are going to be more available. This is why it's the best season for home meetings. The best season. Now, listen, all of you on today's call are leaders. So I'm going to speak to you from a leadership perspective, but I'm also going to speak to you from the perspective that you are a person and you want to do a home meeting. Because let me tell you something. In every single phase in my network marketing journey, I always relaunched my business. So let me give you an example. Today, you might be a platinum regional director making 10,000 a month on this call. Let me tell you something. You can still relaunch your business. How do you relaunch your business? Have your own personal home meeting. You might be a brand new EI, just got promoted this week. No problem. Have a home meeting. You might be a senior vice president. Have a home meeting. Every phase in my network marketing business, I relaunched my business by having a home meeting. My own prospects, my own people, and I relaunched my business. So let's get into it. Here's the first thing that you have to do. Number one, you need to set a date. Number two, make a list. And number three, invite to your home meeting. So let's start with number one. Number one, set a date for your home meeting. When you set that date, do not change it. Keep that date. Stick to that date, no matter what. Make sure that that date is fixed and you have everything prepared around that date. Number two, make a list. You see, ladies and gentlemen, your list will determine how big your home meeting is going to be. Think about immediate family, close friends, successful people you know, credible people you know, people that have a large network, your immediate family, people with a business mindset, people with work ethic, sharpest person you know, people with the best personality. Think about all these people. Make your list. And now we go to the third point. What is the third point? Now it's time to take that list and now invite to your home meeting. Now, before I speak about invitation and I speak about in detail, here's one thing that I want to share with you. When inviting, don't present. All you have to do is invite. Number two, show enthusiasm and urgency. Remember, 50% will not show up. So here's what I do. If I want to get 20 people in a home meeting, I make sure I get 40 people to say yes. And to get 40 people to say yes, you probably need to make 60 phone calls. 60 phone calls, 20 will say they're not available. 20 will say they are available and they will not show up. And 20 will show up. Always remember this, 50% of people that confirm yes, they will not show up. And here's the other thing. The size of your home meeting will duplicate good or bad. The goal is for you to fill your living room. So ladies and gentlemen, I want you to all imagine that you are all brand new and I am working with you. I, as Ahmed Mukhtar, I've just signed you up. You are a brand new sponsor of mine. You are in a new organization, brand new leg, and I am going to work with you. The first thing I will do with you is, of course, I will do the presenting. I will close. We've done your launch. And now here's what I'll do. I will arrange your home meeting. I will help you set up your home meeting. What are we going to do? We are going to do two things. Number one, if you look at the presenting and closing presentation and the launching video, in fact, if you look at the launching video that's on YouTube, you will see there are two types of presentations I do with the new person. Number one is an emergency exposure. So when a person signs up, I launch them. The very next day, I get in front of their closest people. That video is on YouTube. I'm not going to speak about that. But the second meeting I will have with a new person is their home meeting. That's the second meeting I'll have, is a big home meeting. I will sit with you. I will set your date and I will show you how to invite to the home meeting, because I want to make sure you have a good home meeting. Why? If you have a good home meeting, anyone that signs up in your home meeting, they will look at that home meeting as an example. Does that make sense? If you have only one person there, that person will think that's how a home meeting should be. Does that make sense? So the size of your home meeting will duplicate good or bad. So let's speak about now. I am now going to teach you how to invite. Now, I like to break invitation down into three simple words: mentor, project, visual information. Those are the three words that I want my brand new person referring to. Because why? They will always, no matter what script they're saying, they will be able to remember those three words: mentor, project, visual information. Now, why do I speak about mentor? Why do I emphasize on mentor? I'll tell you why. Ladies and gentlemen, people look forward to meeting someone successful. People look forward to meeting someone. When you tell them there's someone I want to introduce you to, in my mind, I'm excited to meet that person. If I just say, oh, it's a business presentation, come and see, it's a Web3 project, come and see, it just sounds like general information. But if I tell you, hey, listen, there's someone I want you to meet, and they're excited to meet you, I'm going to automatically be looking forward to meet that person. This is why mentor for me is very important. Mentor, project, visual information. And I'll get into it in a bit more detail. But why mentor? Why do I like to focus on it? Ladies and gentlemen, this is called the edification triangle. Now let me just explain what this is. This, on my right-hand side, I believe for you, it will be the right as well for you. On the right-hand side, you have you, okay? On the left-hand side, you have your prospect. And then you have the expert, okay, which is your upline, your leader, your mentor. Now, remember, your prospect, they trust you, but they don't respect you in business because they know you for you. Example, if I'm an Uber driver or I am a stay-at-home mother, or I am a student, or I am an airport assistant, my people know me for those things. They don't know me as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, etc. So they don't respect me in business because the first thing they're thinking is, well, if this is about making money, why aren't you making money? This is the way people that know you the most, this is how they think. This is why I make it about the expert. Why? Because my people trust me, I now edify the expert. When you edify the expert, then your prospect will respect the expert. Does that make sense? You edify the expert, your prospect will respect the expert because they trust you. That's called the edification triangle. This is why I love to speak about someone else. So now that we've made my list, we've set the date, we've made my list. Now I am going to start inviting people to the home meeting. Now remember, ladies and gents, what I said, the size of your home meeting will duplicate good or bad. My goal is I want to get as many people in that living room, as many people in that living room. Now, if I want to get 20, how many people do I need? If everyone can just type in the chat, I want to make sure that you've been listening. If I want to get 20 people in the living room, how many confirmations do I need? Just type in the chat. I want to make sure that everyone's, we're having the same conversation here. Excellent. 60. Exactly. Why 60 calls? Because remember, 20 will automatically say, I cannot come. 20 will confirm and they won't show up. And 20 will be there. So remember, 40 confirmed, correct. 40 confirmed, 60 calls, correct. Very, very good. So it's very, very good. So we're all on the same page. So ladies and gents, this is the edification triangle. So let's speak about the script. What do you now need to say in order for someone to now get invited to your home meeting? Well, ladies and gents, here is the script right here. Number one, what I simply tell them is, phone rings, how are you? How is everything? How is family? Oh, everything's well. Okay, listen. Hey, what are you doing Wednesday, 7 p.m.? Now, normally what I always advise people is don't make a home meeting the very next day because that's an emergency exposure. Very next day is called emergency exposure when you want to get in front of their closest people the quickest. Home meeting, you want to allow it some time so that they can make the calls and get maximum people there. So, hey, what are you doing Wednesday, 7 p.m.? Nothing. Why? Why do I want to know what they're doing first? If they're going to tell me I am busy Wednesday, 7 p.m., then what I would always ask is, can you cancel? Can you cancel? Yes or no? No, I cannot cancel. Then there's no point me continuing that conversation. I just hang up the phone. Does that make sense? I'll just tell them, hey, listen, I'll call you back. I really need you Wednesday, but since you're not available, I'll call you back. And we will use that person for the next home meeting. Does that make sense? We can always have as many meetings, or that person, I can arrange a one-on-one. I can invite them to the event, Zoom, whatever it is. But I don't invite that person to the home meeting. I won't continue the conversation. I won't say, well, I was going to invite you to a home meeting. No, stop the conversation then and there. So let's start again. How are you? How's everything? Normal, just what you normally say. What are you doing Wednesday, 7 p.m.? I'm busy. Okay, can you cancel? No, I cannot. Okay, let me give you a call back, okay? I hang up the phone. Now, what are you doing Wednesday, 7 p.m.? Nothing. Why? Okay, great. Hey, listen, you've seen the state of the country today with everything which is happening, such as the cost of living, inflation. Listen, because of this, I started looking at other ways of making money. And I came across an individual. His name is Lidju Thomas. Hey, listen, let me tell you a bit about Lidju Thomas. He's expanding a multi-million-dollar project in our area right now. If I'm in Paris, I'll say in Paris. If I'm in Cava Tireni, I would say, he's expanding a business in Cava Tireni. If I'm in London, I will say London. If I'm in Djibouti, I'll say Djibouti. No matter where you are in the world, he's expanding a project in our area right now. And I thought of you. Listen, we both could really benefit from this. Hey, on Wednesday, I'm having a get-together at my place. And Lidju Thomas will be there. I'd love you to meet him and see the visual information for yourself. Listen, there'll be snacks, there'll be music. It'll be a very, very good vibe. Listen, I'll add your name to the list, okay? Why do I say I'll add your name to the list, okay? Because that's a closed question. I try to have as many closed questions as possible. Now, don't spend too much time on the phone. The introduction, of course, when you're saying hello, how's the kids, how's the family, etc., you can take your time with that. But the invitation part, don't make it more than 2 minutes. Now, if they ask any questions, here's what I simply reply. Hey, listen, like I told you, I am new. I don't know much information myself. But here's one thing I know. We can both benefit. Just trust me. Come to my place, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Liju Thomas will share everything with you. They ask another question. Hey, but what is it? Is it this? Is it this? Is it that? Great question. But do you know who knows the question? Liju Thomas. Wednesday, 7 p.m. Just make sure you are at my place on time. Do not be late. That's it. Remember what I said. People, they love to meet someone new. They love to meet someone they can benefit from. And because you edify the expert, they're looking forward to meeting that person more than just meeting you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the invitation script. The mentor, I spoke about the individual. I spoke about the project they're expanding, and I spoke about visual information and coming to mind and showing the importance. Very important. Just be open and honest. Hey, listen, you've seen the state of the country today. The cost of living is going up. Inflation is going up. Literally, I was in a home DIY store, a few days ago. I was just in a home DIY store. I started speaking to an individual, and I kid you not. Do you know what they said to me? They said to me, man, the cost of living is absolutely crazy. And they were just telling me about their heating bills and so on. And I just simply asked them a question. I just simply said, hey, listen, have you ever considered another way of making money? Have you ever considered having another way that you can make money? They said to me, what are you talking about? Perfect. And I simply took their contact details. So everyone today is looking for a way to make money. So just be genuine. You've seen the cost of living. You've seen inflation. Because of this, I started looking at other ways of making money. And look who I came across. I came across an individual called Liju Thomas. Listen, right now, Liju is expanding a multi-million-dollar project right now in Paris. And I thought of you. We can both benefit. Now, listen, I'm not the expert, but Liju Thomas is. On Wednesday, 7 p.m., I'm having a get-together with my closest friends. And I consider you as one. And Liju Thomas will be there. I would love you to meet him and see the visual information for yourself. Listen, we'll have snacks, we'll have music, it'll be a good vibe. Can I add your name to the list? Simple. Now invite them to the home meeting. Now let's speak about the home meeting. So I want you to all imagine you are new. I've sat with you. I've helped you build your list. We started making calls to get your home meeting full. Now it's time that the home meeting is there. Now listen to me, ladies and gents. I want to make sure that that person who's inviting people to their home, they have the best success in their home meeting. Why? In fact, what I'm going to do, let me stop sharing my screen. Ladies and gentlemen, what I want to do is I'm going to enable the chat and I'm going to ask you all questions, okay? So I've allowed the chat, I've allowed everyone to speak on the chat, okay? Let's keep it related to the topic I'm speaking about here, okay? So I've enabled the chat. I'm going to ask you questions and I want you all to be interactive with me. Is that okay? Just type yes. Or we, or C. Just type yes, because I want to make sure that we are all interacting properly here. Excellent, excellent, really good. Excellent, perfect. Okay, because I want to make sure that we are understanding this conversation together. Perfect. Now, I want to ask a question. Okay. Now, why do I want to make sure that that person has the best start possible in their NeXarise business and have a great and has a great home meeting? Why? I'll tell you why. Because the size of their home meeting will be duplicatable. If they have a bad home meeting with 3 or 4 people, probably their people will think the exact same thing. So the size of their home meeting will be duplicatable, good or bad. So I want to make sure they have the best home meeting possible. Now, when we've made the invites and so on, I never just stop there. Now what I do is all the people we have confirmed. So let's say we have 50 confirmation or 40 confirmations. We have 40 people confirmed at our home meeting, or 50 people confirmed at our home meeting, or 60 people confirmed. It doesn't matter. I already know if I have 60 confirmed, 30 will not show up. If I have 100 confirmed, 50 won't show up. I already know this. So what do I do? Here's what you have to do. Whenever you finish the invitation, there is something called text reminders. Make sure that you send a text message 1 week before the home meeting, 72 hours before the home meeting, and 24 hours before the home meeting. Always make sure. Now, what do I say in my text message reminder? Hey, Bob, I'm looking forward to seeing you at my home on Saturday at 5 p.m. Listen, when you arrive, and mention something about when they arrive. Hey, when you arrive, you can park on the single yellow line. When you arrive, you can park around the corner. When you arrive, you can park on my driveway. When you arrive, just ring the bell. See you then. Simple. So make sure you send text message reminders. If I invite someone 1 week before and there's no follow-up, I guarantee you they won't come to your home meeting. Because why? Why? Can someone just tell me why? Can someone just tell me why? Why won't they come? Exactly. They will forget, Eunice. Exactly. They will forget. And I do not want them to forget. This is why it's crucial that you send these text message reminders. Now, if they don't reply, I have a rule. If they don't reply to me within 12 hours, so normally their reply should be, yes, awesome, Ahmed, I will see you on Saturday. Okay? I will see you on Saturday. If they do not reply to me within 12 hours, I'll call them. Hey, listen, Bob, just following up on a text message I sent you. Maybe you're busy that you haven't seen it, but just want to confirm. I'm looking forward to seeing you at my place on Saturday at 5 p.m. Yeah, Ahmed, I'll be there. I'm sorry. I just got busy with the kids and I didn't see my WhatsApp or my text message. Hey, but listen, I'll be there. Excellent, Bob. Listen, whenever you arrive, just ring the doorbell and I'll open the door. Whenever you arrive, if you're driving, just park around the corner. Say something about whenever you arrive. Does that make sense? So very important, ladies and gents, this is you want to make sure that you follow up with a text message reminder. So don't just leave the invitation and that's it. No, always follow up with a text message reminder. Now, ladies and gents, going back to something which is very, very important, okay? You see, people are depending on us, okay? Someone, I'm telling you, to put a home meeting together, it's not easy. It's difficult. It's work, right? To invite 50 people and spend time and invite all those people and have that home meeting. Listen, let me tell you something. It's not easy. It will take time and hard work. But let me tell you something. You can have the best start to your business like that you can ever even imagine. Does that make sense? And because everyone has a home, here's what I love. If one person starts, they have a home meeting and 50 people show up, or 20 people show up, or 30 people show up. Now what's going to happen? Those people are going to see that example and they're going to do the same thing. Now imagine if every single week, imagine if there were 10 home meetings happening in your organization. And in each home meeting, you just had 20 people there. That's 200 people seeing the business every week in your team. Now, what if in every home meeting, 25% signed up? Just 25%. Do you know what that means? That means if 20 showed up to each room, you would have 50 people joining your organization every single week. Now, just do the maths. If 50 people just get business volume of EI, they got business volume to go EI each. That's 350 times 50. Or if you're in Europe, it's 295 times 50. That's 14,750 new business volume adding into your organization every single week. Now, let me tell you what I said in the beginning. System is more important than the product. This is why McDonald's is number one, not because of the product, because of the system. This is a system. So now remember, ladies and gents, people, as a leader, I'm speaking to the leaders, every single one of you that are the leaders, all the leaders, just type yes on the chat if you are a leader and you are on this call. Just type yes for me, please. All the leaders, just type yes. I want to just know how many leaders that we have on this line, right? Just type yes if you are a leader. Perfect, right? Excellent. So we have a lot of leaders here. So all the leaders, this is now for you. Remember, people are filling their living room on what? They're filling their living room on one basis. They are filling their living room because they trust in your abilities to close. They trust that you're going to do a good job. They believe that they're going to get some results out of that home meeting. So this is why you need to make sure that that home meeting is effective. So let's recap before I move on. And then I'm going to speak about how the home meetings happens and so on, right? Let's recap. We've set the date. We've invited, okay? We've made the list, we've invited. We've sent text message reminders. Now is the day of the home meeting. Let's speak about the day of the home meeting. Now what to do. Now just remember, before the presentation, there are some things that you have to do as a leader, okay? And there's a few things that you have to do to help that person have the best start possible. Because remember, the person who's inviting, they don't know much about the business. So you know what? I'm not expecting much from the new person. Does that make sense? This is how I am. I'm not expecting much from the new person, but I'm expecting something from the leaders. So this is a list of 12 things, which is so important before a presentation. So let's go through them. Number one, in every home meeting, make sure that there are 3 people to conduct that home meeting, not just one person. I'm telling you, if there's just one person, you will struggle. So what do I mean? Have the new person who's having the home meeting, they are the host, right? Because it's their friends, it's their family, it's their people. I'm not the host. I'm the expert. They are the host. Does that make sense? Then you have the presenter, which is me, the upline, the expert, the leader, right? Is me or you. And then you have a helper. Now, normally, who is the helper? What I used to do, in my organization, I would always take one leader with me, an extra leader, someone new that I'm coaching or mentoring. I will take them with me to the home meeting so they can help me, okay? And I'm going to speak about the role of the host, the role of the presenter, and the role of the helper. Listen to this very, very carefully. Number 2, make sure you have the profile of all the guests before any meeting. What do I mean by profile? Who are they? What they do for living? And if you remember the last video that I did, which is on launching, right? No, I think it was on presenting. I spoke about the 4 different personality types, and that's available on YouTube. So it will help me when you know the profile of the guest before the meeting, it will help me know who I'm speaking to and what they're interested in. Very, very important. Number 3, prepare everything 2 hours before the guests arrive. What do I mean by this, right? Make sure, right? So make sure that you have 2 areas of the house ready. What do I mean by this? I normally like to have 2 areas. So one area is the living room, okay? Where we have the TV, we have the music, etc., etc. And now another area can be the kitchen. It can be another room. Always just have 2 areas, because later we are going to divide the room. And again, when I speak about it later, it will start to make more sense. So have 2 areas of the home ready. Number 5, have tools ready. Make sure you test the TV, the sound, the laptop, everything is tested before. Play music before. Whilst the guests are arriving, play music. Why? This makes people feel relaxed. Dressed ideal for the occasion. Just because it's your home, you don't want to be wearing shorts and not taking it serious, because people won't really take it serious. So just ideal, something like a t-shirt, something like this, something nice, casual, etc. But just ideal for the location. You don't, just because it's your home, you don't want to be just wearing something very informal. You want to represent that it's a business, that it's a great occasion for you because you've invited all of these people. Number 8, no food. Very, very important. You don't want to be making chicken and rice and no food. Why? Because I'm telling you, some people take long to eat. You'll be having to wait for people. Some people might arrive late and then you need to serve them food. Food will smell and everyone's focused on how tasty the chicken is. We don't want to do that. Light snacks only. And the other thing, remember what I said, is about system. My main focus, and I want your main focus, is what is duplicatable. Not everyone can cook for 30 people, but everyone can have a pack of crisps, some small finger food, some drinks, plastic cups, one-time use cups is all you need. Plastic plates is all you need. Does that make sense? Very small finger food, snacks only is what you need. You don't need something that someone has to cook because we want to make it duplicatable. We don't want to make it a burden on people that they think, oh man, I have to cook rice and chicken as well. Number 9, no pets or children in the room. Why? My boys, for example, I have 2 boys. If my boys are in a home meeting, there is no home meeting. It's as simple as that, right? They will destroy everything. Kids, exactly the same thing, all right? With little children, people be like, oh, wow, she's so cute. He's so cute. Look at the cat. Oh, everyone's going to be focused on that. So no pets or children in the room. Provide people with paper and pen. So all you have to do at the time of the home meeting, ladies and gents, you can literally just have a notepad, right? A notepad just like this, right? I have my notepad. Just rip pages out of it and give it to people, right? Very, very simple. Just give it to people. Why do I say this, right? The reason why I say give people paper and pen is because it diverts their attention to the presentation. When someone gives you a notepad and pen, you're already thinking, you're expecting to take notes. I'm expected to take notes. So all of a sudden, I focus more. I noticed in presentations, when you give people notepad and pen and they have it in their hand, they normally have a tendency to take notes and they take it more serious. So the homeowner, which is the host, to open up the meeting and to introduce. I know they are new and that's okay, but I will help them practice the intro. What is the intro? They got their friends and family there, everyone in their home they know. So it's not like they're doing anything uncomfortable anyway. So here's the way the host will, introduce. Guys, I want to welcome all of you to my home. So excited that you are all here. Here's the reason why. I know in fact, I want to start by saying every single one of you are the closest people to me. This is why I called you first before anyone else. Now, you all know when I called you, I spoke about an individual called Lidju Thomas. And I'm just excited that you are all here because today you are going to hear from Lidju Thomas himself. Say some good words about your presenter. Lidju Thomas, successful man, someone very, very well spoken. He is a privilege for him to be in my home today. And I want you all to hear from him. He's an expert in what it is that we do. And we're going to share that information with you. Ladies and gents, my friends, my family, my brothers, my sisters, round of applause for Lidju Thomas. Does that make sense? Very simple. The host now gets out the way. Okay. Number 12, do not apologize for no shows. People that didn't show up. Never ever start a presentation by saying, I invited 50 people, only 20 of you came. Thank you guys. No, never ever apologize. Do you know what you want to say in every home meeting? We are all here. We are all here. Let's get started. Does that make sense? You want to make it look like this is everyone that you invited. Never, ever, ever apologize for the no-shows. So ladies and gentlemen, this is before the presentation. Let's speak about during the presentation. Now, if you don't know how to present, look at my video I did on presenting. That's on YouTube, okay? Now the expert, the leader, the upline now comes to the front of the room to do a presentation, okay? Now, when the expert is doing a presentation, if you are the expert, if you are the presenter, you need to look at this next slide. What is this next slide? Please take a look at this. Very, very important. When you are presenting the information, you are looking for positive feedback. What do I mean by this? People that have eye contact, that are looking at you. People that are taking notes. People that are shaking their head. People that are sitting upright like this, listening. Those are the people you want to look at as a presenter. Those are the people, let's go back. Not look at, but those are the people you want to identify as the presenter. Does that make sense? So whenever I'm doing a presentation, I am looking for those people who are making eye contact. Those people who are giving me feedback. Those people who are taking notes, shaking their heads. Those who are sitting upright. Those are the people that I identify as the presenter. Now you have the two other people, the host and the helper. What is the host and the helper's role? The host and the helper, they are looking for people that have negative feedback, such as no eye contact, not taking notes. They're looking at the time, or they're looking at their phone. They're not shaking their heads. They have a negative posture. That is what the host and the helper are looking at. Now, listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully, please. So far, I just want to make sure, does what I'm saying make sense so far? Ladies and gents, if what I'm saying makes sense so far, just do me a favor. Just put number 1 in the chat. Number 1. Please put number 1 in the chat if this makes sense so far. Yep. Excellent. Just put number 1. I want to make sure everyone understands this part. Now, excellent. Thank you. Let's go to now the host and the helper. Okay, so the presenter, we know what the presenter is doing. As I'm doing a presentation, I'm always looking at people who are positive. So I'm like, okay, this person, this person. So I already know what to do after the presentation, and I'm going to speak about what to do after the presentation. Now let's speak about the helper and the host. The host is new. They don't know much about the business. But the helper, remember what I said about the helper? The helper is a leader. So now the host and the helper, now they're having a conversation. So here's what the helper and the host have to say to each other, okay? The helper, which is the leader that I brought with me to the home meeting, here's what I now want them to do. I want them to tell the host all the negative people that they need to remove out from the meeting as soon as it's done. Does that make sense? So let me give you an example, okay? Let me give you an example. Imagine I'm the helper and I'm with the host. And let's say Lidju Thomas is doing the presentation, okay? Lidju Thomas is doing the presentation and I am the helper and I have the brand new host with me. Here's what I would tell the brand new host. Hey, do you know that guy with the blue shirt, the lady with the bag, and that guy with the sunglasses? As soon as the meeting's finished, don't worry about anything. Just take those 3 and take them outside with you. Does that make sense? So what I want you to say is, you do me a favor, come outside with me. I want to have a conversation with you guys. We want to remove those negative people straight away with the host. The host is a brand new IBI. We don't really care about what happens with those negative people. Does that make sense? And what I'll simply tell the host is I will tell the host, hey, listen, if they ask any questions or anything, just find out if they're in, or I don't want you to worry, just find out if they are in or if they are out. So ladies and gents, let's recap, because I want to make sure that everyone's understanding this conversation. Whenever I'm having a home meeting, I will have, of course, the host, which is the new IBI, and I would have the helper, okay, which is my leader, okay, which is a leader that I'm working with, okay. We have a meeting together or a Zoom to plan the whole meeting. Okay, you are going to do this, you are going to do this, and we define the roles. Me as the presenter, anyone positive, they are mine straight after the presentation. I'm taking them with me, and I'm going to tell you what to do after. I'm going to show you what to do. I'm taking all the positive people with me. Now, helper, which is the other leader, what I want you to do, I want you to answer all the questions. Any people with questions, you are going to keep them. And now you, who are the host, anyone that the helper identifies as negative to you, okay, you have to take these people outside with you. And all I want you to do when you take them outside, ask them a question. Are you in or you out? Simple. They're negative. We don't care. If they're in, great. We get an extra person. And if they're out, they're out. Does that make sense? Very, very important. This is the way that you want to divide people. Okay. So this is now during the presentation. The host and the helper have to work together whilst the presenter is presenting. Does this make sense? Please put number 2 if that makes sense. Just put number 2 if that makes sense. Excellent. Okay, so the translation's doing really, really good. Excellent. So let's now move to after the whole meeting's done. Ladies and gentlemen, after the whole meeting, people will divide into 3 different categories. Number 1, there'll be green apples, which is very, very positive. The ones that are nodding their head, the ones that are taking notes, the ones that are giving eye contact, they're the green apples. Then oranges, they're very hard to tell. Does that make sense? Oranges is very hard to tell. They have questions. It's very hard to know who's an orange. But rotten apples, they're easy to tell. Does that make sense? They're very negative, like this. Straight face, no emotion, looking at their watch, looking at their phone. They are the negative. Now, as the host and the helper, they have to be looking for the rotten apples. And the host has to take the rotten apples out straight after the presentation. Why? Ladies and gentlemen, if there are rotten apples and you now put them with green apples, what happens to the green apples? What happens? They all turn rotten. They all turn rotten. So let's now speak about after the presentation, they spread their negativity. They're rotten. Absolutely. This is why you don't want to mix the 3. Very, very important. So let's speak about what to do after the presentation. Presenter, they look for everyone who's giving positive feedback. Move these people away. Remember why I said we need 2 places, 2 rooms? The positive people, the presenter has to take them straight away to another room. Does that make sense? So let me give you an example. Whenever I was building and I saw people give me eye contact, straight after I said, all right, you, guys, come with me to the other room. They automatically come with me to the other room. Does that make sense? Now, the host, their goal is, remember what I said, is take out the negative people that you and the helper have discussed. Okay? Now, the helper's role is to deal with all the questions. Does that make sense? So let me give you an example, okay? Let's imagine the whole meeting's finished. I finished the presentation. I never, ever, after a presentation, I never just play music and let it go quiet. No way. No way. Whenever I finish a home presentation, I control everything. What I say, okay, perfect. Guys, anyone with questions, raise your hands. Okay, 5 people raise their hands. Okay, perfect. You 5 people, you are going with the helper, okay? The leader. So let's say the leader's name is Asad Ali. All right, you 5 people go with Asad Ali. Okay, you come with me, which is the ones who are the green apples. And now the ones that were negative, the helper and the host already know. Does that make sense? So the rotten ones, already the host at this time, the host already knows which one to take. Does that make sense? So let's just recap. The presentation's finished. The host now comes and him and the helper already discussed and they already removed the negative one. So I, as the presenter, after the presentation's finished, I already know who's negative. Because why? The host has taken them out. So I know, okay, these people are negative. Perfect. We're on the same page. Now, anyone has questions? Yep. Okay, all of you go to Asad. Perfect. Now, the rest of you, guys, come with me. Let's go to the other room. Does that make sense? Those are the positive people. This is how you filter a whole meeting. This is how you filter. Why do I say have 3 people with you. Well, 2 people really, because one is the homeowner. So let's say 2 people. Why do I say 2 people? You can do this more effectively. If it's just one of you, I'm telling you, you can still do it. It is going to be challenging, but it's going to be a bit more difficult. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's now speak about, we've done the whole meetings, we've divided people. Let's now speak about closing in a home meeting. How do you close in a home meeting? Now, I'm going to share my screen here, okay? And I'm going to show you all how to close in a home meeting, okay? So now, let's say the presentation has finished, okay? The presentation's finished. Now it's time to close, okay? Now it's time to close. Presentation has now finished. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when I, as the presenter, I'm with the positive group, okay? Here's what I now do, okay? I will automatically, in every presentation, you would know straight away who the most positive person in the room is. In every room, there are 1 or 2 very positive people. They are the ones I want to speak to the first, okay? I've taken the positive group with me. And here's what I now simply say. Hey, listen, today we did a presentation for Bob, okay? For Bob. We did a presentation for Bob. Now, look, I want to just tell you something. As you know, you are the best friends of Bob. This is why you are here. But shall I tell you something? Bob and myself, we have more meetings to happen. This is why I want you to take full advantage. Now, right now, this is Bob. This is the way Bob's team is going to be. This is number 1. This is number 2. This is number 3. Then number 4. Then number 5. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. We can only have 3 people at the top spots. And anyone that comes after that, we're going to put them in 4, 5, 6. And anyone that comes after that, we're going to put them 7, 8, 9. Now, listen, outside, as you saw, Asad Ali is already taking questions outside. So a lot of those people, they're going to want to sign up. But the reason why I brought you in here is because you are the ones that seem the most positive. And I go to the first person, the most positive person, and I look them in the eye and I shake their hand and I'll say, are you ready to become number 1? Most of the time, I'm telling you, I draw this for them and I show them. Most of the time, they literally say yes. Why? Everyone likes to be number 1. Then I go to the next person. Are you ready to be number 2? Are you ready to be number 3? Does that make sense? And I literally, firstly, before I go to number 2 and number 3, I go to the first most positive person and say, are you ready to be number 1? And I shake their hands. And now they say, I'm ready. Here's what I do. I start typing, okay, perfect. What's your first name? How do I spell it? Ladies and gentlemen, I already spoke about how to close in the last YouTube video. So take a look at that video for you to understand this much more. This is your first ever leadership, so you can understand much more. Go back to that video. But here's what I say. Are you ready to be at the number 1 spot? Most people like to be number 1. They like to be at the top spot. And here's what I do. I focus on that person. I sign them up. Then do you know what I do? I make an announcement. Make everyone hear. And I shout it out so everyone can hear. Guys, spot number 1 is taken. Go to the second person. Are you ready to be spot number 2? Same thing. Spot number 3, same thing, and so on. Now at this point, because I'm doing the application form, by the time you finish one application form, the helper should finish with their questions. So whilst number 1 is filling out the application form, I say to the helper, hey, Asad, are you finished with your questions? Yes, perfect. Right. Is anyone ready to get started there? And let's say he says they have questions, etc. I say, right, come here and you help me sign these people up. Now Asad goes to the second person, we start signing. Third person starts signing. Fourth, and this is how we tag team. Does that make sense to everyone? Just do me a favor. If what I said makes sense, just please put number 3 in the chat for me, please. Number 3, if this makes sense. Very good. Very good. This is how you filter a home meeting and how you close a home meeting. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you something, okay? If a home meeting finishes and someone's done a great job and they put 50 people in a room or they put 30 people in a room, and I as the leader come and I don't get no results and I don't close anyone and I've spent money, I've brought snacks, even though a home meeting really doesn't cost much, it's in my home, yes, but I bought snacks, but the time, I've taken time to invite everyone and have a grand opening. If you come as a leader and no one signs up, how do you think I'm going to feel after that home meeting? Can anyone just type in the chat? How would you feel after the home meeting? How would you feel? Just tell me. Right? Dismayed. Absolutely. How else would you feel? You could type it in French. Demotivated. Absolutely. How else would you feel? Right? Right? You feel trop mal, which means very bad. Right? So again, you will feel bad. You feel disappointed. You'll feel deflated. Does that make sense? And now for you to do another home meeting, you're probably going to be like, oh man, I wasted my time. And then as a leader, I have to now tell you, don't worry, let's go again. Now, guys, I want to make it clear. There are times as a leader, there are times I've experienced in my network marketing business that I go to a home meeting, is a small home meeting, and no one signs up. That does happen, but it's a small home meeting. But if I have a big home meeting, I always end up getting people that start. Now, imagine if 5 people start. Do you know what the person's thinking? Wow, I invited 30 people, 5 got started. That's a very, very good ratio. That's more than 10%. Does that make sense? This is what the person's thinking. So this is the way that you want to make sure that, because people are trusting you, they're putting people in front of you. And let me tell you something, if one home meeting goes by, second home meeting goes by, third home meeting goes by, guess what people are going to start to think? This is not the right leader for me. Because why? Time either promotes you or time what? Exposes you. So ladies and gentlemen, this is how you have an effective home meeting. This is how you have an effective home meeting, what to say, how to say it, when to say it. You have everything at your disposal. Now, what do you have to do? You need to go back out there and really relaunch your business. If right now, if you are at a place in your business that things are just not working, let me tell you something. I'm telling you, write a list, schedule a home meeting. If right now you just got promoted, let's say you are regional vice president, like Giuseppe Manzo, for example, who's the Italian interpreter today. He makes 20,000 a month. If you are him, no problem. Have another home meeting. I'm telling you, get to senior vice president. If you are platinum RD, have a home meeting. I'm telling you, go to the next level. So every time I achieve the position, I relaunch my business by having a home meeting. Now, you know what happens? As you're now having home meetings, feed everyone into the live event that you have in your marketplace. I'm telling you, you have the biggest momentum ever. Now, walk with me. Imagine I signed you up in a home meeting. I launched you, right? I launched you. I did your emergency exposures and we scheduled a home meeting. And you now had 5 people join. And that example replicated. Imagine if every time, I'm telling you, I swear there was a time in my business, every single day, every day, even if I don't even pick up the phone to nobody, I would have 100 people joining my team every day. Every day. 100 people joining my team every single day without fail. Sometimes even 200 people a day. There were times 4,500 people were joining my team every single month. Why? Why? Because of system, not the product, but the system. A good system can make a bad product good. And if you have both, even better. In NeXarise, we have great products. We have PBR. We have great products and services. And imagine if you can now have a great system. Changes the game. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the power of having a home meeting. Now, if let's say you are now with the positive crew, right? You're with the positive group, right? And let's say, one happens to have a question, right? Remember, I spoke about this in the previous closing video. Someone has a question. Here's what you do. Remember, I spoke about this already before. Hey, no worry. Respond to their questions. Answer their question. Use feel, felt, found, right? And go back to your question. Hey, listen, just a question. I want to know, does this company operate or wait, I just want to know, am I able to do this around my busy schedule? Absolutely, you can. Listen, I know how you feel because when I started, I used to work in Marks and Spencer's. So I felt exactly what you felt. But you know what I found? I found that you can do this completely outside of your busy schedule. Now, listen, do you want to be spot number 2? Do you want to be spot number 3? Go back to your question. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how to have an effective home meeting. Listen, thank you so much for being on this webinar. I appreciate every single one of you's leadership. I hope you found today's leadership valuable. This will be up on our YouTube channel in the next few days. So with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, let's take full advantage of the beautiful system that we have in place. And I look forward to seeing every single one of you very, very soon. Take care, everybody. Have a great week next week. And I look forward to seeing you all next week, Sunday, on our leadership series. Bye for now.